welcome to another episode of AndersMill Knits. I'm your host, Emily, and you can find me on the interwebs as aka Millie907 on Instagram and aka Millie on Ravelry. And I apologize if I'm swatting a lot. I have a lot of flies buzzing around me. We are at a remote location here in the southeast of Alaska. Not really remote because we're right off the highway, but it's a campground on the way to Kenai. It's called Bertha Creek, and it used to be a pretty good place to go gold panning. Even up to a couple years ago, there were a lot of people who would come, well, maybe not a lot of people, but a fair amount of people who would come up here and try their hand at gold panning, and in particular using the machines. And I've always found Bertha Creek very fascinating, and I love Johnson's Pass in general. The peaks around here are just absolutely majestic and gorgeous, and they're very peaceful, except for the flies. And it's also very smoky. I'm going to insert a couple pictures here about, or maybe I'll have done that at the beginning or the end. Who knows? There'll be some pictures, and I'll see if I can't label them as pictures from the Sterling Highway and the wildfires going on there. Currently in Alaska, we have over 90,000 acres burning. We have wildfires going in Anchorage, which is my hometown. We have wildfires going in the Matanuska Valley, which is about 40 miles away from my home and where my little sister lives, where my dad grew up. And then we have these are just 3 of the fires. We have so many fires going right now. And then we have our large fire that is going down on the Kenai, which has burned hundreds of thousands of acres. So obviously more than 90,000 acres. So, oh my gosh, these flies are terrible. I don't know that I can record here. This is just insane. It's always something when I'm outside, isn't it? I can't seem to... It's either somebody's mowing their lawn, or there's too many kids playing, or I don't know, airplanes going overhead, or dogs barking, and now flies. I don't know, people. I'm giving it a shot. I prefer while the weather is nice to be recording outside, but I just don't know if it's possible. So we shall see. We might finish this in my car. Right now in Bertha Creek, it is 86 degrees, which is record-breaking for Alaska, especially at this time of year. However, it is also a lot hotter than you would think it is when you're actually in it, because the sun hits us differently in Alaska than it does in the lower 48. So if you're in Arizona and it's 110 degrees, the sun is right overhead and it's just beating down on top of you, and there's relatively little humidity. So your 110 in Arizona feels like 86 in Alaska, because the difference is that while the sun in Arizona is straight up and down, the sun in Alaska is at a diagonal, and so it hits your full body. So if you're standing out, and we have a lot of humidity, so if you're standing out in the sun, the sun is on you, if you're not in shade, it is killer. Yeah, I thought Portland was hot. And here's the thing, I'm home in Alaska. I was expecting to have this nice cool summer and to be able to wear my weekender sweater all summer long, and I was all bragging about it to you guys, and I haven't even been able to pull that dang thing out. So we shall see. Speaking of the weekender sweater, I'm trying to see if I can't enter that into the state fair competition. I'm looking into it. I haven't figured it out yet. As in, I've looked into it enough to have downloaded the category flyer to see if it matches anything. Because here's the thing: it's hand knit, but it fits a couple categories in that it's hand dyed yarn, because it has my hand dyed yarn in it, and then it has commercially dyed mohair in it, so that can do the commercial dyed too. But then I also have a lot of other things that I could probably submit if I get it finished in time. to the state fair, and I've never submitted anything to the state fair, and I'm really gung-ho about it. I really want to try it this year. So we'll see. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Other than that, things have been going great. I've been doing a lot of camping with Bestie, going out to his property and helping him. This last weekend on the 4th of July weekend, we went out there and we dug a whole area it's hard to explain, but it's like a tent platform area, because we had to clear a lot of brush land to do this, because his property is pretty much just all brush. So in the past, we've gone out there and we've kind of just made it work. And this time we went out there purposely to make an area for it to be permanently a tent site. So I got completely filthy. Here's a picture of that complete filthiness just on my feet alone. Hint, hint, I had to throw away those shoes. They were so bad. But it was worth it. It was so much fun. But holy crap, was it hot. Holy crap. And the flies, the horse flies. I've got a lot of horsefly bites on my legs. Sorry, I just wanted to sit. It's just so lovely to be out here. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see the fireweed behind me? So one of the things in Alaska that we go by is the fireweed, and it tells you where you are at in summer. Here, let me go pick one, and I'll bring one back and show you. Okay, so here's a nice beautiful one. I actually stole it from 2 bumblebees just now, but here we are. So it's got all these beautiful leaves going up, and you can make some fireweed jam out of the flowers and all kinds of beautiful things. Okay, so if you notice, there are blooming flowers down below, and then we have some pods up here. Now the way that the summer in Alaska works is that the summer is ending when it gets to the top pods. You see that? So right now we're about halfway through summer, because it's about halfway up the stem. So that's how I know where I'm at in the summertime and when winter will come. So far, we're not going to have an early winter. I don't think. But that's one interesting thing. And oh, a fly just flew in my ear. Come on, wind, come back. Make them fly away. Another thing that I've been enjoying a lot of my time with, I'm going to try and stop saying and It's starting to annoy me, but that's okay. I can be gentle with myself. I have a new fella. I might be in love. I might be very happy. So, things are going well there, and I'm a little preoccupied. And so, things are happy there. So I'm just going to call him my MJ. And, well, really, it's just MJ. So I'll refer to him as that if I ever talk about him on the show, okay? He's very nice, very, very nice, and very gentle and kind, and very gentlemanly, as in opening doors and car doors for me. I've never had that before. It goes right to a girl's head, I'm telling you. Okay, let's get to the real stuff, that why you're here. So I have been knitting in intense bursts, and then being distracted by other things. A lot of things are happening about work and things. I'm doing a lot of travel to try and get a job. That's why we're at Bertha Creek today, is because I went down to the city of Kenai, which is on the Kenai Peninsula, for a job interview today. And I'm on my way back to Anchorage, and I really just wanted to stop at Bertha Creek, which is going to be where I camp my first night, maybe my one and only night. I still haven't decided in a couple weeks when I do my ride to Seward. This is 52 miles from Anchorage. There's another campground a little bit a ways up that's exactly 55 miles, and that's sort of the halfway point. So that would make it about 60 or odd miles that I would have to do the second day on my bike. So I'm thinking about things. you know. I might even go to what's called the Hope Junction. I don't know about that. That might be pushing it a little bit, because that would be 60 miles the first day. Which do you want to do? More the first day or the second day? I don't know. Anyhow, enough chit chat about that. So that's why I'm here at Bertha Creek, and so the knitting has been really intense bursts, and then all of a sudden I'll be furiously busy with things, job interviews, and I do have some other things that are taking up some time, and then of course my guy, MJ, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh my goodness, I haven't knit in like 3 days, and then I'll knit furiously again, and then I'll get distracted again. You know, life happens. Oh my goodness. Are you guys as annoyed with me doing this as I am? However, with that intensity comes 3 finished objects. All right, so we have 2 pairs of socks done. One for my sister for her birthday, and one for my mother just because she really liked the colorway, and of course, you know, she apparently wants everything that my sister has. So I used the leftovers, and I had to use a whole bunch of different colors to do scraps. So this color is from hold on guys, that's not it. Here we go. The Cozy Knitter in her Bliss base. And it's in the colorway Polar Vortex. Now, I want to say something about Cozy Knitter. I did not like this skein, this colorway in the skein. Didn't like it at all, honestly. I don't think I've really liked very many of my colorways that I've gotten from her so far, except for this month. This month I really like. Especially now that I know how they knit up. And I think that was my problem. I hadn't actually knit up any of the colorways that I've been getting in my club shipments. And so this time I did. So, well, I mean, I finally broke into one skein. What I did was I put out all the skeins because I was determined that one of these self-striping skeins from the Cozy Knitter was going to be my sister's socks for her birthday. And I had a couple colorways in mind. But my mom and my sister, my other sister, picked out something that I wasn't even thinking about for my sister Amy, and so our oldest sister. So my little sister Kelsey, then me, and then my older sister Amy. So Kelsey and Mom picked out the Polar Vortex colorway, and it's quite romantic and soft, and I think my older sister Amy is going to very much love them. It comes with a matching like 80-yard skein for heels and toes and cuffs. So for the first pair of socks, I was able to do exactly that, and they match almost perfectly. Actually, pretty damn perfectly. And then for the second pair of socks for my mom, okay, after I tell you about these socks, I'm going to have to stop and go back into the car because this is just ridiculous. For the second pair of socks for my mom, the first toes I got done, and I thought I had measured it out so that I could get the other toe on the sock as well, but I was about 4 or 5 rows short on the second toe for this. So I ran out of the blue 4 or 5 yards shorter than this one. Let's see if you can see that. I mean, I'm not lining it up perfectly, but still. So I'd already planned on using other contrasting things for the heels. And then I got out my tried and true test that I've used many times now for my heels, my yellow, because I love it. And then I got going on the heels, and I thought to myself, you know what? Let's do a third color for the cuff. And I knew I was going to have to make the cuff longer and that the socks were going to be shorter. And my mom was okay with that because I just wasn't going to have enough yarn. And then, so when I got to the second sock, I also told Mom, these are not going to match at all. Are you going to be okay with that? And she said, yeah, she's going to love it no matter what. So, at least for the stripes. But the, kind of like the rosy for the cuffs, my mom just loves these. And I like how, I mean, it's still romantic and lovely. I love it. I love it. So anyway, okay, now I'm gonna have to stop and go to the car because this is ridiculous. All right, sorry about that, folks. It's kind of the crux of the matter of the problem, situation, conundrum. Whereas we have this nice, kind of nice heat. I mean, it's nice when you're in the shade and the winds, you got a little bit of a breeze. Unfortunately, that means we have so many flies this summer and these are biting flies. They just take chunks out of your skin. It's just, so these are not gentle, nice little flies. Are there gentle, nice little flies? I don't know. Anywho, so we're trading one thing for another. So with the heat comes an enormous swarm of flies everywhere. And this is probably record breaking on that too. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. So that's why I finally just had to give up the ghost and come into the car. So we're also trading off the wind from outside and the trees for the air conditioner because it's too muggy otherwise. So I hope that's not loud in the ears. I'll see if I can't turn that down a little bit more. There we go. However, let's get back to the good stuff, shall we? So the next thing is I finished another hat called the Rocky Ridge hat, I believe. I can't look it up at the moment because I have no internet right here, and I'm using my phone, so I can't look at it. But it's the Rocky Ridge hat. It's for my brother-in-law for his birthday, which I believe might be today. Oh, if I forgot. But it's done. I just have to, I don't even know why I haven't clipped these out because I've even blocked everything. Okay, so I've been hearing a bunch of people kind of discussing whether to weave in your ends before or after you block. And a lot of people are coming back with that they weave in their ends after they block. And I do it before, but I don't trim my ends before I block. And the reason I do this is because I knit it. I mean, I weave in the ends and then I block it. And because I don't trim these off, the yarn can grow and move with the fabric as that moves and not come undone, like come popping out of my fabric. So now I have a lot of confidence that when I trim this off, which there's no reason why I haven't, I just been lazy, that it shouldn't start popping out at some point. Now this is acrylic yarn, so I'm not sure. Let's see if I can't find my skein here. Okay, so I used Lion Brand jeans colors, and in the jumpsuit colorway, it's number 138. There we go. And this is how much I have left, which is I would probably say this is about 37% left of the skein. So I've been contemplating whether or not I want to put a pom-pom on top. I think my brother-in-law would look pretty dang cool with a pom-pom. He's a pretty cool fella anyway, and he's an artist, and artists love funky things. So I think I might. Anyway, I have that done. It was knit on a size 5, US size 5 needles. It was a very simple pattern. The pattern is free. It comes out from the Knox knitter or knitting company. Knox as in Knox. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And it was just literally, I think, yeah, there's just a 2-row repeat. And it has such a stunning effect. It's kind of like a broken garter stitch rib, if that makes sense. 2x1 rib. But I like it. I don't think it would look good on me, but see, and this is the other thing. I blocked it. I was trying to make it slouchy. Did I make it slouchy enough? I don't know. I knit the longest thing on the, I think I just have a huge noggin. I've got a huge head. So, I'm not one to be judged by as far as this. I don't look good in hats generally. So, let's not do that. So, those are my FOs. I also unearthed a project by complete accident that is 90% done. So let me just find that really quick here. Here's the skein. Oh, look, somebody's joined me in the campground. Until now, I was on my own. Okay. I don't know if I ever spoke to you guys about these, but last summer I cast these on. I love the Knitted Wit. I love her colorways. You'll see this in another project that I'm working on as well. You already know that one. It's Marketplace Shawl, something like that. This is her, I can't remember exactly what the series is called, National Parks, something like that, but this is the Denali colorway, so obviously for Denali. And I just did my standard fingerless mitts. So it's pretty much like I'm knitting socks, cast on 60 stitches. This time I did it on a US size 1, I believe, because the yarn is plumper. And I did a twisted 1x1 rib, and then I just knit up until I reached, I don't know how many inches, probably about 4 right here, where I split for the thumb. And then I knit up, and this time what I did was I just kind of knit until I felt like it and cast off. And then and that creates a rolled edge, which I actually like on my fingerless mitts. The rolled edge to me is fun, and it can get out of my way really quick. I really wanted these to be nice and short so I could type as well at the time. I believe that was my thought process. I hope it was my thought process. Anyway, so I got one whole mitt complete, and a second one, everything but the freaking thumb. What the world? Why in the world did I stop there? So I found all of this, and when I was looking for something, I don't even know what I was looking for anymore, but I found it, and so I gotta finish it. Can you believe I found this like a week and a half ago and I still haven't finished it? What is my deal? Anyway, I even took this skein of yarn camping with me, thinking I would just, if I wasn't gonna finish the thumb, I would just cast on another pair of socks with this. I didn't even do that. I just need to finish these. It'll make me happy. But this also got me thinking about making some gloves. I've been using some of my fingerless mitts for bike riding. However, there's certain pressure points on your hand that you have when bike riding that I think I could improve on. Some of which are right here where the thumb pad is, and then across here as well. And I've got some ideas in my head for a design for this, and so I'm thinking about that. If I come up with it, I'll probably put it out for free on Ravelry, because I never charge for any kind of patterns I do, because I'm not really a pattern writer designer. So why charge for something when you can do it for free and it's fun? So those are my FOs and 90% FOs. I'll have that done by next time. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna have it done tonight, because every time I tell you people that I'm gonna have something done by tonight, I don't even touch it for weeks, sometimes months. It's like I jinx myself. Another person. Oh, that's so nice. I need a sip. Watered down Diet Dr. Pepper. Gotta love it. All right, so what else have I been knitting on? I have been knitting a fair bit on the socks for my bestie. Here is my loathsome pair. Loathsome is I say because I hate the yarn. It's a delicious, scrumptious, luxurious yarn, and I hate knitting with it. But the fabric, is so lovely. He's gonna love it, especially in the winter. So I'm gonna finish it, but I have to force myself to work on these. This is still the first sock. So I turned the heel. I've knit a fair bit on the foot. The foot needs to measure 7.5 inches from the heel seam, as in the Fish Lips Kiss heel seam. And right now we are exactly, okay, I might be pulling it a tiny little bit to get to this number, but we're exactly at 6 inches. So for my bestie, I need to go another 1.5 inches before I start the toe, which is in my Tundra Strong base. I'm not dyeing anymore, so you can't buy this, okay? I'm not dyeing anymore. This is something Darcy, isn't it? Or is it? I should have called it, Lizzie, what should I tell your father if you took a fall? Anybody? Anybody? You know what I'm talking about? Pride and Prejudice, when they're in the Lake District, and Lizzie's up on the rocks, climbing them, you know, and they're pretty sedate rocks, and yet her aunt is hollering up at her, all worried. I'm just like, girl, you would not make it in Alaska. Anywho, so that's that. Don't ask me what yarn or colorway I'm knitting the main part of the body on, because I don't know. I've lost the tag a long time ago. Literally have no idea, but it's being done. It's a nice variegated gray with speckles of blue in there. So the heel and the toe. I'm going to do the toe in blue too. Well, go well with that. The next thing I'm knitting on, what is in this bag here? I want to talk about this one. No, I don't want to talk about that one next. The next thing I'm knitting on is another pair of socks for Bestie. This one I have been loving knitting on, only I had actually forgotten about these socks too, so they hadn't been getting any love until this weekend. This is knit out of Madeline Tosh. Fresco e Secco. Oh, shoot. Pardon me. Fresco e Secco. Fresco e Secco. Colorway 158. And it says in huge stamped letters, no dye lot. Everybody's got to know this about Madeline Tosh. Malabrigo, not Madeline Tosh. Malabrigo sock yarn. You just don't expect their colors to match from one skein to the next. You just can't expect it. So I am knitting another Mina Phillips pattern. This one's called the Avenue Socks. And again, this one is a 4-row repeat. She's got, technically, this one pattern, because of all the variations in there, it's at least, I want to say 4 to 6 different socks in one pattern. Maybe more. She's just great. It's a very simple pattern. It's great. It's lovely because you can memorize it very quickly and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I don't feel gypped because of everything she goes through in the pattern itself. Toe construction, heel construction, toe up, top down, different ways to mix things up as far as the pattern repeat and so on and so forth, and giving you all the variations. It's great. I love it. So I'm knitting these on size 0s, I think. 2 millimeter. Oh man, my eyes are getting bad. Yeah, US size 0. And I have knit, everything is in this colorway. No contrasting heels, toes, or cuffs. And I've knit this, and so when I started this one, I was probably about, this weekend, I was probably about halfway up the foot. So I've knit all of this. So let's see, do I have a measuring tape? I do. So minus the heel, I have knit about, well, okay, on the stocking net side, which is the back side, I've knit 7 inches. On the pattern side, I've knit 6 inches. Now, the reason I say that is because you will notice that the stocking net side is taller in the back. So I specifically decided that the back of the heel would also be not unpatterned, just straight stocking nets, just like the foot, the bottom of the foot. I just thought it would be nice and striking to have it go all the way straight up. Anyway, so because of the way that this pattern is done, this makes a pretty dense fabric, but the stockinette on the back is a lot looser. So I'm doing all my measurements from the from this side, which actually, now that I think about it, is wrong. Oh well, I've already done it. It's done. Keep going, Emily. All right, so then you might ask why the progress keeper right there. That indicates to me on my next sock where I need to start the heel for the next sock. So that for the back. So on the pattern side, that will indicate for me. I mean, I'll still use my measuring tape and everything like that, but I just want it, it's just better to have it there, I think, for both top down and bottom up, and I'm doing toe up, or bottom up, I don't know. So, which by the way, I'm really enjoying. I've always been a top down kind of gal, and really enjoying the toe up. I forgot to mention I am knitting this on with 64 stitches around. My bestie's foot is probably about the same width around as mine. However, I just wanted to get it I mean, it fit him perfectly when he tried it on. So my thought process was good. US size 0 or 2mm needles, 64 stitches around, at least in this pattern, is good for my bestie. Gotta have him, because I did the same thing on the unpatterned socks, so I need to have him try those on, make sure those fit him well. So I've done those two things. Then I knit a lot on my Suburban wrap by Joji Locatelli. This is just a terrible picture, but it's the best I got. So it's gorgeous. It's got 3 colors. There's garter, there's striping, there's lace, there's eyelet, there's more lace, there's texture, which the texture is interesting. I'll show you. As in maybe a tad boring. Like, I kind of... Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I feel like the textured part could have been a little bit better. As in, maybe a different texture. She's probably going for subtlety. Boy, did she get subtlety. Oh my gosh, did I just rip my stitches out? What in the world did I just do? I wasn't done with a row. Why did I stop in the middle of a row? Oh my goodness, Emily. Hold on, guys. Hold on here. And that needs to come up, and that. And then, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is ridiculous. Yep. And that. What was I thinking? All right, I'm gonna undo these. Sorry. Oh, you didn't see a single thing. Good. Ha! You didn't see me drop stitches at all. Not one bit. And I'm just tinking back really quick to my, there. All right, so now I can show you everything. I literally had knit like 6 stitches on the round, and then yawn. All right, so I picked what you saw last time. I have this gorgeous tealy, this kind of halfway between teal and seafoam. I've got a speckled one right here. You can't really see it very well in this striping. And then I've got some natural white that I'm using. And I'll tell you all the skeins in just a minute. Now, here is the textured part that I was talking about. Now, you can't see it. Oh, maybe, okay, maybe there is something there. I guess they're kind of like V's. No. Can you see it at all, guys? Can you see the texture at all? So, blip, 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 blip. So it's just offset, blip, with stocking net. I don't know if you can see it, but if you can, thumbs up to you. Maybe you can see it on a bigger screen. So it's not, I mean, this is the first time I've actually stopped for a moment and looked. When I got to the textured spot on the pattern, I was like, you're kidding me, right? That's the textured. Two stitches that are garter and all of the stocking net. That's it. And then you just offset it. Sometimes I feel like we pay a lot of money for things that could be better. People are gonna yell at me. If I didn't like Hohi Locatelli's patterns, I wouldn't be buying them. I like them. It's just sometimes I think that designers charge a lot of money for things that could be a little bit more intricate. Like if you're going to charge us $6 or something now, $10 and up, US dollars and up, and I know that like in Canada, that's a lot more, and I don't know where the UK is, probably less, but that's a lot of money for one pattern. And I get it, you have to be compensated. You do have to be compensated. I struggle sometimes when things are so simple. Okay, another one that I struggle with is Helen Stewart. I really like her patterns. However, I also think her patterns are extremely simplified. And she regurgitates the same things over and over again, just in slightly different variations. Now, does that stop me from buying her patterns? No, it doesn't. So I'm a hypocrite, right? I do enjoy her patterns. There's one, in fact, that I've knit the Pebble Beach shawl. I've knit it like 3 or 4 times. It's a very simple pattern. What I do really enjoy about her is her percentage system. I do think that is very worthwhile. So I'm not sure if she has that on all of her patterns. I haven't knit all of her patterns, obviously. But I did take advantage just recently when she had her birthday sale. I did take advantage of it and get a couple shawls. I got her Impressionist shawl and Pooh Corner or something like that, 100 Acre Woods, something like that. I got that one. So I'm a hypocrite, but at the same time, I do feel that way a lot of times once I get into the pattern. The lace on this is simple. It's just a chevron. The striping is simple. The eyelets are simple. The textured part is simple. I guess what it is that she thought to put it all together. She thought to say, this all would look fantastic in one huge piece together. I think that must be it. I know I wouldn't have come up with this. So I need to stop going on about how sometimes I think things need to be more intricate. If I want intricate, I can go and buy intricate, right? I can buy a lace shawl pattern. Boy, I'm going on a tangent. Anywho, what I'm trying to say is I know I'm wrong. I know it's an irrational feeling that I have. Just sometimes when I'm knitting a pattern, it wells up inside me that sometimes I feel like I've been a little bit gypped. And it's okay that I feel that way. Because then I talk myself through it like I just did, and I realize, you know what? I never would have thought to do something like this. Only Hohi would have thought to do something like this. Like, for instance, I just love the arrowness of it, you know? Can you see the arrow? That right there. And that's a simple technique too. Ooh, fly away. It's great. Okay, so what yarns am I using? We've already discussed this before. I am using Swift yarns in the Swift Tough Love sock, and this is the Folklore colorway, so that's the speckled. Then I have Plucky Knitter in the Plucky Feet base, and the colorway is Move Over, Darling. Move Over, Darling. So I put those two together. Then my last one is from a mill down in Washington, and apparently I do not have the tag, but I love this yarn. I need to get my hands on some more. I have more skeins of it at home. I want to knit a whole sweater out of this. A fingering weight sweater would just be so amazing. The handle on it, when you're knitting it, it fluffs up and bounces in your hand, like it just jumps on the needles and just wants to do whatever you want it to do. And the floofy, scrunchy loveliness right here, oh, I just love it. Now, one thing I will say that I have changed on things is my order in which I'm using my colors. So technically, come on, I can do this. Oh my gosh, seriously, Emily? Color 1 is my teal, color 2 is my speckled, and color 2 is my white, and color 3 is my speckled. But then I changed things around. So in this striping section, it should have been colors 1 and 2, so that it should have been the teal and the white. But instead I did the teal and the speckled. So then what I decided to do was do the white here. And then, so really honestly, I just kind of decided to change things around in the middle of the pattern. So I really didn't do anything because I get to decide which numbers my colorways are. Which one's number 2, number 3, number 1. So I didn't do anything different in the pattern. But never mind. Don't listen to Emily. Here I thought I had actually done something different. Okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about as far as whips, we're in session, is my marketplace. Is that the right name again? I forget. Woo! What did I lose? Oh, this is stitch marker. Don't want to lose my stitch marker. Midtown Magic. Oh, someday I'm gonna remember this. So here it is. It's a free pen on Ravelry. It's really a satisfying knit. The friend I was going to knit this for is no longer a friend. I put up boundaries. They did not honor those boundaries, and they are now no longer my friend. But I have another friend in mind that will get this. So it's still good mojo, still good what going on with this shawl. I'm still enjoying it. I just put it aside until my immediate sadness over the friendship went away. And I'm going to pick it back up again. So I'm in the last section, which is the mesh section. And I think that is absolutely stunning. It's getting a little washed out when it's up close, but it's gorgeous. So I have a single ply. Is it Madeline Tosh? No, it's Malabrigo again. See, I just can't remember things. In the Machetta colorway. And it's just a black single ply. And I contrasted that with Knitted Wit in Love is Love color, which is this wild colorway. So I've contrasted those two together, and this one is probably, I think, this one's at least a 4 ply. Again, very plump. Where'd that fly go? I want to get him out of here. And so I'm on the last section. This one goes pretty long, so it's going to take me a little bit of time, but I do not begrudge that. That was the back side, by the way. Here's the front side. Because this is going to be a Christmas present, so I'm in no hurry to get it done. But it'll be nice to have it off the needles into my friend. That's back east. And that is it. So on to acquisitions or new to the stash or whatever it is I call it. I just don't even care anymore. Only a few of you watch it and I can just say whatever the heck I want. It's great. So 2 weekends ago I went to the Highland Games with my bestie and my new man, and that was the first time they'd met, and I made that happen because I those are the two most important people in my life outside of my family, and I needed them to meet, and I needed them to approve of each other. Luckily they did. They laughingly argued about which was better, PlayStation or Xbox. I was so confused, but it was cute. Anyway, and it was so hot that day. Oh, so hot. But did that stop me from getting all giddy and excited when I saw not one but 2 fiber/yarn booths? No, I got freaking awesomely excited. I did buy 1 skein of merino tencel, a 4-ounce bump from Fiber and Ice, and she doesn't have a colorway on, I don't think, in any of hers, but I just loved this. I couldn't put it down, and her price was very reasonable, so I got that. I almost got 2, but I stayed my hand because we have a fiber festival coming up my birthday weekend, and they're going to be there, so if I really want another one, I can get it then. So I got this merino tencel. Never spun tencel, so that's going to be fun. Merino is pretty standard, so you know, that's good. At least I'll have some familiarity there when it comes down to it. I got my July shipment of the Cozy Knitter, and boy howdy do I want to cast this on. So this is the Sun-Kissed colorway, and oh my goodness, I want to knit this now. We got lots of people all of a sudden. It's got pinks and yellows and blues and whites, and then this really soft minty green. Oh, it's so, I love it. She got me with this one. So I'm gonna be casting these on for myself. This might be my no, I don't know if I want to wait that long. My birthday cast on. Then I got my shipment, my monthly shipment of row 1 yarns, and this time I've got from Earl Grey Fiber Company. Okay, here we go. And the little blurb on this lady is super little. Some, you know, I guess she doesn't want a lot of stuff out there about her, but her colorways are pretty good. Pretty muted like Earl Grey. I like it. Heather Pleva is the wonderful dial behind Earl Grey Fiber Company. She creates her intoxicating colorways in her studio in Bothell, Washington. I like that plum. I like this one. I like this one. I'm not going to take them all out. There's a bunch in there to like. They're very soft. So, and these all go together, so I could do a nice big package project just with those, even though I'm planning on doing my blanket. And then, of course, you know, Stephanie puts in a bunch. Oh no. Did I remember her name right? Laura! Laura, I'm sorry. She's a sweetheart. I don't want her to think I didn't remember her. So Laura always puts in goodies. So this time she put in a English breakfast tea bag, a biscotti, and this month's stitch marker is or progress minder is a teapot. Can you see it? It's so cute. He's so cute. Okay, so got that, and then today, since I got down super early, because I could not for the life of me get the highway information when updates, so I did not want to be late for my 1:30 appointment, so I left my house at 7 in the morning. And just put this all right here, and I will take care of that in a minute. And I got down a couple hours early to Kenai. So, well, okay, there are 2 cities right next to each other, like 8 miles apart. So there's Soldotna and then there's Kenai. So I spent the first couple hours in Soldotna, and I went to a new to me store called the Woolly. Oh, I'll put in a picture of it right here because I've forgotten the name all of a sudden, and I didn't have her give. Oh wait, it's right here. Top of the Whirl. And they had such fun things. They even had hedgehog fibers. But there was this one company that I just utterly fell in love with, and I bought a bunch. So it's called Unique, and I have knit with this yarn before. I bought this yarn, not this exact base, but I bought this yarn from, I remembered it later when I was in Bend this last fall, and I knit those socks super fast and loved them. Because what it is I'll put a picture of Top of the World's sample socks right here. So it's self-striping, but it's gradient self-striping. It's awesome. So I bought 2 colors. This one is colorway 3011. I think that's all it's colored. And these are these are dyed or made in Turkey. But one thing that I really love about this company is that they partner with Trees for the Future. So each skein of Earth Yarns plants a tree in Africa. Planting trees not only prevents soil degradation, but provides food, marketable products, and fuel wood from families, increasing their income by 400%. One tree. Wow, lots of trees. So the company is Earth, URTH. It's unique fingering, and it's a gradient colorway. And I got colorway 3011, which I am super excited to see how it stripes/gradiates up. So the 2 socks are not going to be alike. And then I got another one. This colorway is 3016. Is that it, or is that what they're just putting in there? I'm assuming that's, yeah, color 3016. Oh, they even have a lot. Good. So this one is an interesting one. It kind of looks a little ugly, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be. Now that I've had a little bit more insight into things from the Cozy Knitter, I feel like this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's got gray and white. I mean, gray and yellow, so grello. And blues and purples and pinks and a really hot yellow. Like, see that right there? And then it goes to a softer yellow. Oh, I'm so excited to knit this one. So excited. And I thought, well, maybe this might be good for my sister Amy for her birthday. Yes, I've already knit her 1 pair, but So I had her skein this one up because I got impatient and I needed that. Then from the same company, Pure Cashmere. So Cashmere Mono. I had to get this. Look how it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be a cowl. Now, and so I kind of spent a lot of money on these 2 skeins, but there was a reason. I did some retail therapy. There was a reason I did some, and I recognize that. It wasn't smart, but still. The last thing I picked up was from the Alaska Yarn Company. They are based out of Homer. Their actual LYS, which the owner of the LYS, I believe, was hand dyeing this, and now I think she's just doing this full time or something. I don't know what she's doing. It closed down. That one closed down. So, but when they first started dyeing yarn, I did not like their yarns at all. The dyer, though, has really dialed in her colors now, and this is really beautiful. So this is Weekend at Wendy's. So she might have been with a friend and just did it. So while I was there, I was about to leave, and this gentleman comes in and he says, I'm here visiting, and I promised I would pick up some yarn for my wife. And so Melissa, the lovely lady that was the lady that checked me out and things like that, she was busy winding up my skein of earth yarn. So I was like, oh, dude, come here. I'll help you. And so I took him over to the Alaska Yarn Company, and he picked up 2 skeins of yarn there. And so Melissa laughed, and she was like, if you do end up moving down here for that job, if you want, you can have another part-time job here as well. And I was like, thank you. I know I'm a good salesperson. I'm good. The last thing that I wanted to talk about as far as things that I've been up to is also when I was out camping, my bestie's property has a lot of moss, and so I started collecting. I've got 2 bags of it right here, and then I've also got a whole bag of this of Labrador tea. So we're gonna dry the Labrador tea so he can have it. I don't particularly enjoy tea, but he's gonna have the tea for, you know, all winter long. And I am going to be ordering myself some silk scarves from Dharma Trading Company, and using these to, and leaves, and probably some fireweed, and who knows what else. And I'm gonna do some steam baths and dye up some silk scarves just for the fun of it. Like, literally, I don't have anybody in mind. Maybe I'll have them for some prizes here on the show. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I just want to do it. That's what it is. So that was that. So the last little segment is about mental health, and I want to talk a bit about preparation. Do I want to talk about preparation, or do I want to talk about turning things inward? Both of them have really been on my mind lately. Let's talk about turning things inward a bit, okay? How do I start this off? There's a level of sharing with other people that is appropriate. Sharing of your life experiences, your woes, your highs, your lows, especially like determining who to share them with, your intimates or just random people. You know, like if you meet somebody at the grocery store, you're not going to sit there and tell them your life story. Probably you might talk about, you know, like the weather or your job, or, you know, wish them good luck on a job interview, so what have you. But then with your intimates, you might talk about some things that obviously are more intimate. But even at that, there are things that we don't share with the outside world. And those things are the things that hurt us the most. We turn them inward, and they prey upon our psyche, on our self-esteem. And little things can really get to us and build up. For instance, think about a cup of kindness. Every time somebody does something kind for you, they put a drop in your cup of kindness, right? And the fuller the cup, the better you feel. Same concept holds true with the things that you hold inwards. All these little tiny things, the little things that bother you, like, oh, they said that one thing that really hit a sore spot with me, and that goes into that cup. Or your backpack. Pretend you're a backpacker, for instance. When you go backpacking or hiking, you don't put tin cans, you don't put heavy things in there, you don't put a full-on huge tent on your back, right? You don't put a regular sized tent on your back and expect to be able to make it up the mountain. When you go backpacking, you're very thoughtful about what you put in there. You put as much lightweight things as possible, freeze-dried foods, lightweight backpacker's camper, tent, maybe not even that, maybe just a hammock, right? Depending on what you can get away with. And you focus on the important things, putting in things like a huge camel pack of water and making sure that you've got water over here, a sanitizing thing for water as well, something in order to, a canister in order to cook on, emergency supplies. So that's very different than a backpack that you put tin cans in, you put a whole bunch of candy in because that's what you like to eat. You put on, you put on this huge tent on your back. Which one is going to get you up the mountain safer and not well rested, but you'll have the energy to complete your journey? It's going to be the one that has the most thoughtful things put in your backpack, the most lightweight things. So I'm going about this very weirdly because I've never spoken this out loud. Okay, we're gonna get this. I hope you guys bear with me here. The things that we turn inward are like those tin cans. They're weighing us down. And some of the things are large enough that they are like putting an entire tent on our back. Huge regular tent that sleeps like 10 people, and weighs 30 pounds in and of itself. But to the outside world, they might seem like a really small thing, It might seem really small that your husband ate out last night rather than coming home and eating the dinner that you had slaved over when it's so hot outside, and you had made him a meal. It wasn't his favorite meal. It was just a meal. But he came home and he's like, I stopped at McDonald's on the way home. I'm good. And then he just goes up to his room and maybe turns on the TV or something. And you're left there standing there like, huh? Or somebody forgets to include you in something. I know, or just a thought comes across your mind. Like you look at yourself in the mirror one day and you're like, I don't feel pretty today. Maybe I need to lose a few extra pounds. Those things are the tin cans that go in your backpack. And what I want to encourage you to do is change that, flip it around so it can be the lightweight freeze-dried things. You're still going to have stuff in your pack. It just depends on how much weight you're going to be carrying around. So when those things happen, if you challenge them and say things like, well, okay, he ate out, not too pleased with that, I'm going to let him know, but in a very healthy way. Hey, honey, when you eat out and you don't tell me, and I've been working on dinner for the past couple hours, that does hurt my feelings. I need you to tell me when you're going to do that so that I don't prepare a big meal. Simple as that. Or you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not looking good. I need to lose weight. And, like, oh, look at that flab kind of thing. Well, let's just say, okay, yeah, I've gained a little bit of weight, but does that mean that I'm less worthy? Does that mean that I'm less lovable? Does that mean that I'm less pretty? I still got my beautiful eyes, I still got this beautiful noggin that has all these wonderful thoughts and not so wonderful thoughts. Let's just be honest. So when you do those things, you take the tin can and turn it into a package of freeze-dried food so it weighs a lot less. Instead of the 4 ounces that the tin can is, you then have the half an ounce that the freeze-dried food is. And those things add up. Every single time you have one of those thoughts, that's a 3.5 ounce can that you put into your backpack. By the end of the day, you are weighted down. And I'm just talking about one day. I'm not talking about a week, a month, a year. One day. If we can change it into half an ounce or less, then maybe by the time we go to bed, we can set that backpack down and be a little bit tired, but not so worn out that we literally cannot think anymore, right? And when we lay that down, maybe we can even take a moment to breathe and just relax some of those muscles in the back, and by doing that, we can consciously be telling ourselves that we're relaxing our brain, we're letting go of all that negative script that goes on. I think that in this world, we have a lot of media coming at us that is of the negative type, negative scope. Especially now, it's very prevalent. Everybody is attacking each other, and it is driving me bippy. I am so disappointed. I'm just disappointed. And when we attack another person, it's not one tin can. You've added a bunch of tin cans on top of it. Like, this is 3.5 ounces, so that still counts as a tin can. So I just want to encourage everybody to be more gentle with themselves, to be more gentle with those around them. This is not making very much sense, but as they say, can't we all just get along? Can't you just get along with yourself? Can't you just get up that mountain with a backpack that doesn't weigh 1,000 pounds? Or are you even going to get up that mountain because that backpack weighs 1,000 pounds? We'll see if I keep this in. It's kind of rambling. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But thank you guys all for joining me. I am so grateful for you. If you're watching this, you're pretty darn awesome, because there's only like 30 of you. And I will see you next time round. In the meantime, remember to knit what you love and love what you knit. Ta-ta for now.